The issue with success and opportunity, it's what could be. Fear is what I know I could lose. So like I know right now what I can lose. So we're afraid of what we'll lose because what we could lose, it's like what can I lose? I see it. I could lose this. Opportunity and future success, it hasn't happened. I haven't seen it. So the idea is great, but the idea isn't as I touched what I could lose. I haven't touched what I could possibly have. Gary V.
So Gary V wants to buy the jets, you know, and you've got this whole hero thing going.
Yep.
Do you have like a tangible goal? Do you have something, you know, that's his like white whale, right? He wants to go out and buy the jets and,
yep.
You know, do you have something like that in your mind?
I want to buy a jet. A black jet with the yellow logo, but with my satin black G650 jet represents is that it's the vehicle that I could go around the world with my family to create experiences, to go unlock 1 billion people to embrace the hero in themselves. So my job is to awaken 1 billion people. My job is to awaken 1 billion heroes. And I can't do it without a jet. Because you know why? Because superheroes fly, that's why. In order to reach that level of income or have a jet means that I have to make a huge impact. And so then I'll require a vehicle to save time to get out to the people. You know, so everybody else's ideas of what my life should be, but what is my life created to be? And I think that's where the midlife crisis comes from. Because the midlife crisis happens at any age, but it's a crisis of life where at the other end, you realize at the other end of the crisis, what's scary is you're not going to see who you want to be or who you think you are. You're going to actually see who you really are, and that can be scary to somebody because they realize like I don't have an identity anymore. I'm a counterfeit version of all these other people that I looked up to, but I was never really me. And that's you could either choose to stay conformed and blind yourself to it, or you could say, you know what, no matter what the risk or what I have to give up, I think it's worth going through and actually seeing who I really was or is, and remember who I was the whole time. And it's uncomfortable because it's a process. What was your impression?
Do you have a moment like your sons where you really embraced that? Specifically, like I know you went through the depression, or just the questions, but what was the moment that just turned it?
What was so Tim, can I reframe it saying, what was the day that I embraced that last essential to say I am? You know, I knew that it was the signpost of my life that all of us require. Doesn't everybody want to be admired for achieving great things and contributing to the world? And so even though I knew that and I walked in it, but Tim, it didn't happen. See, when Justice did the Key, right? But it did, that day happened for me a couple weeks ago. Roberto, I didn't even tell you this. When I did my first keynote, when I did that first keynote at Garrett Gunderson's, I remember standing ready to do it. I felt a lot of nerves. I knew a lot was on the line. And when I was walking up to the stage, because I know I was bashing the secret identity, but then I actually fell in love with it because I realized what our sacred identity was. And I walked on that stage, I remember up to the stage, I remember telling myself, and this is my transition, I said, "Dear secret identity, thank you for trying to protect me all these years," because that's all it is, a protective mechanism. And I said, "But I don't need you anymore." You know, the hero rises, and that was it. and I was never the same. So, but it all has to come to that point where I can't do it for you. You have to literally gently fire or let go the dogmas, and you've been living your whole life according to someone else's values, right? You know, mom wanted me to do this, dad wanted me to do this, and at 40, I looked in the mirror and I might have done a lot of great things in chiropractic, which I did. There's no regret there, but part of me never really knew who I was and what I really was put here to do on such a bigger level. Dr. Fred had me out, he's like, you know, when you're done with a Tough Mudder, you know, they're all full of mud. It wasn't about adding more mud to make you a hero, it was about cleansing and remembering. So it wasn't like, so this is not personal development, saying you need something. You need something. No, it's not, you don't need anything, you just need to remember. Did I help you out, Tim? Awesome.
Lead it up, my boy.
Good, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Sick. Already gave you 250 back on your tax.
Good.
Fucking sick.
Good. He's a petite. That's the first potentialist shirt I have saw. Not only did I talk about it, he's got the damn shirt.
That's right. Superman right here. Superman.
All right, so the weekend flew by, man, right? Yep. So it felt like it was crazy. Like when I was talking with Winnie, I don't even know like what day or what city we were in. And it's the first time doing it, so I know I probably sound like a wimp, and I know we'll get used to it. So Thursday night we flew out? No, Friday morning. Friday morning we flew to...
Woke up at 4:30.
Yep, well, I got to Tampa. Went over to Clearwater, which was beautiful. Loved it. This is the Health Experts Alliance with Dr. Isaac Jones, which he's been on he's been pretty much cameoing in the last couple episodes. We spoke. Did a really good job. I'm really starting to feel in my zone, you know. It just feels, you know, I feel like, you know, we got it. Yeah, well, it's getting more dialed in and it's making more sense. It's getting deeper rooted in my heart because I see the realness of it. Because what's tough to do is what the message I'm talking about, I'm coming from an expert point of view, right? Because I'm the one on the stage doing the keynote, but I'm the one actually going through it. And so it's not like I'm the expert and saying this is how. It's like I'm just like a week ahead of everybody else. I'm one chapter ahead, kinda, and I still don't know the end of the book. We're doing it with everybody because now we have a lot of people doing it as well, but we're just a little bit ahead. And we're like, hey, you know, I'm clearing the way. I'm with the machete. I feel like I got a machete in my hands, and people want to know the answers to certain questions. I'm like, I'm doing it too. And I think it's unique versus like other people on stage that they're experts. They've done it for all these years, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I know it's working, and just come on and let's do it together and enjoy the surrendering of the journey, which is really fun. Yeah, then we flew to Denver. Right, so we got to Denver, went from Tampa to Denver, so we actually traveled back in time, which is awesome. Any time travel I could do, I'm into. After I spoke, and then I spoke, then Roberto spoke, which is awesome. So I know you got stuff with Roberto, Dr. Fred, and then we just hopped in the Uber, and we're here, ready to go back to home. And I thought I would be more exhausted, but I'm really, really excited, you know. So I think the adrenaline. I mean, doing what we did in such a short period of time was really exciting. And I know I'm using superheroes not because they're like, well, they're false. They're not really. It's a story, but the story is based on character traits, right? Like when we do this hero message, there's no governing board. It's only the people, and that. I want the people to be my boss. I used to say that, you know, you go to college unless you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. But even when you go to college, if you get a job through education, you are guaranteed to be imprisoned by a governing board. Right, the lawyers have a board over them, right? So you are always. Education leads to a false prisoned ecosystem and society. It always does. You're never your true boss ever. So true entrepreneurship doesn't mean that I'm a doctor. If I have a degree, I'm not really an entrepreneur, right? It doesn't mean anything because I'm just governed. That degree means I'm going to be governed by somebody, and they're like, hey, listen, you can have fun. But if we have to slap you on the wrist, you're gonna be like sit. You know, I don't like to be trained like a dog because I'm a wolf, you know, and a wolf sure as hell ain't a dog. So.